We're back here in Guangzhou at this absolute unit of a Chinese restaurant, and we're here to try our hand at some very authentic Cantonese dim sum. So let's give it a go. Lobako. This one is a little under-seasoned, to be honest, and the portion size is a little smaller. This is a large, fancier restaurant, so I understand that. The under-seasoning is not really forgivable, but you do get a lot of the daikon flavor, which is good. I mean, that's what you eat lobako for, right? Not that much stuff in it either, though. Some awesome color on this gao. It's gigantic too, look. Mm. Mm. 呢個好食啊，好好食啊，嗯。你睇下有咩食？呢個好多嘢食啊。係啊，呢度好多嘢食。啊，嗯。你去我嗰度翻。嗯。呢個同一車就唔使啦，佢成日都係預咗嚟飲茶嘅。佢一早賣喺度。又試下呢度啲炭燒燒，我68蚊一隻，人民幣68蚊一隻。唔使。This thing is overflowing with flavor. This one's really good. Seasoned properly. The chive, which is the gao choy, is not overpowering everything else. There's enough meat in there to bind everything together. This one's pretty damn good. This is a beast of a ngoyokun. It's gigantic. I poked it, which is probably not the best because it's just poor etiquette, I guess. But if I didn't, I would have dropped this thing for sure. It's heavy, substantial. So as I was saying, this is a beast. It's really well seasoned as well. I don't know what happened to the lobako, the daikon patty, but this one has a lot of watercress, water chestnut in it. Love the texture contrast. This one's really well done. Tender, not too firm, which usually means it's got a lot of filler in it, but it's in this case, I think they probably just ground it together loosely and didn't pack it too tightly. It's like 3 gigantic bites of a meatball. Can't really see it. So this is congee with all of the insides. A little bit of tofu skin, but it also has all of the innards, offal, from the pig as well. So this is small intestines. Good. Mm. Congee in China is like next level. I want to say, obviously, it's kind of the birthplace of congee too, or a version of it. Well, birthplace of congee, but they just do it properly. It's like properly incorporated. It's not. I know there are different styles too, but the style that I like is well seasoned, and they make it in the clay pot and they cook it down, and it's almost like it gets flavor from the clay pot. It's not just rice gruel or rice porridge. They cook it in such a way, mix it in such a way, incorporate the ingredients in such a way that it just has flavor throughout. It's much more than just the name porridge or gruel or any of those sort of plain and bland names. So good. Togo. Don't get this much in Vancouver, but you can see there's like a lot of layers expertly pressed in there. Mm. This one's pretty good. I'm a little mixed on this. Excuse me. I'm a little mixed on this only because sometimes the Taro, which is the Wu-Tao, is not as well cooked through, so sometimes it's a little grainy or it's a little chunky inside. This one is a lot of small pieces of Taro. So it's cooked through nicely. It's got color all the way around the outside. So it's got enough flavor there. It's seared all the way around the outside. It has a good textural contrast with the sesame seeds on the top and bottom too. Pretty good. How we compare this one to like a Taro pasty. Taro pasty. Pasty? Like a hand pie almost. Fragrant. Lo mein. So mixed noodles. In this case, it's like hao fan, rice noodles. Sort of a messy version of cheng fan, if you will. Looks good. Really thin. With a simple noodle like this, it's really important about texture because there's not a lot of flavor coming from the noodle itself. I mean, there is, but it's not something that you would necessarily eat plain. So the texture is forefront on the noodle, and then the seasoning is in the sauce. They have raw onions, but they also have a really high quality soy sauce that they use. A little bit sweet, savory, and deeply flavorful. That's really good. Really good. Really good. Almost everywhere we've gone, it's been really good. I mean, there's different levels of seasoning, different levels of fluffiness on the inside, different levels of density, different levels of crisp, but I haven't had a bad one. Deep fried dough. What can you really complain about? This one's a good one too. Not as fresh because it was ordered before we got here, but it still holds up. Look at that structure on the inside. The latticing of the dough, how it expands, how it grows when it's deep fried. Ni哋係咪呃我啊？上次係冇咁好食，呢次係好食嘅。你亦感覺嘛？你感覺啦。啊。Blood. Cooked blood. Like a loose blood sausage, maybe? I mean, a lot less work goes into this, but it's seasoned, it's boiled. It's like meaty jello. I don't know how they do it, but they get rid of the ironiness that comes with, you know, blood. Anytime you've tasted blood your own anywhere else, there's always a little bit of like a heavy iron flavor. This one has almost none of that. It's super clean. Literally just meaty jello. Very like slippery texture too. Good. It almost just like disappears as you put it in your mouth. Another piece. In terms of flavor, it's mostly just briny, salty. There's definitely some white pepper in there as well. Maybe that helps counteract the ironiness, but the white pepper flavor with the saltiness, brininess, and the meaty... Oh, I'm sorry. The meatiness and the saltiness, ladle almost knocked over my camera, is all really good. And then you have to remember to get your vegetables in. So this is lettuce, well, like almost like a romaine lettuce. But all the vegetables in China are probably locally sourced and just so much more flavorful, so much more sweet. I'm assuming that's why kids in China probably don't hate vegetables as much as kids elsewhere. But they come out as sweet, properly seasoned, still crunchy, so not boiled to hell or like mushy at all. Very, very tasty. And this is no exception. None of that regular like bitterness you might get from a similar type of like lettuce. Yeah, just good with some simple soy sauce. Quickly stir fried. Tasty. This is one I haven't seen before. What's it called again? Chuksang is the mushroom on top, right? Chuksang is the mushroom on top. It's actually a mushroom. The rest of it is pretty similar to a hagao, which is shrimp dumpling, but it's got more mushroom on the inside as well, apparently. I made a complete mess of it with my first bite. But it's like a mushroomy hagao. Can't go wrong there either. The mushroom on top definitely has a bit more of the fungusy, earthy, mushroomy flavor. So if you're not into that, this one might not be for you, but the shrimp is perfectly cooked. It's like still tender. And a clean shrimpy taste. It's really good. Really good. More dumplings. Chujiao fengguo. So this one is chaozhou. I have no idea what fengguo means. But it's a crystalline wrapped skin, just like the hagao. But it's wrapped in chunkier ingredients, if you could say that. Alright, I'm struggling to find a way to describe the previous ones I've had. This one's a much more delicate and smaller one than I'm used to in maybe Vancouver. But let's see what's on the inside. Less proteins in here, but this is much more of a textural experience. So there's celery, sesame seeds, peanuts, a lot of peanuts, a little bit of pork, just for some meaty flavor, and a couple other crunchy vegetables I can't really identify. Maybe some daikon? And it's all encompassed within this crystalline wrapper, and there's a bit of a meaty sauce there as well. This one I'm finding myself chewing more just to enjoy the texture. It's definitely not as like impactful and flavorful and chunky and sort of clumsy as maybe the ones that are in Vancouver. I keep drawing on my experience in Vancouver because I think Vancouver is still kind of peak dim sum outside of China. But this one is much more of a delicate textural experience. Everything is chopped very fine. and everything sort of falls apart and comes together in your mouth at the same time. If that's one way to describe it. I had to go back for another of these beasts with some Batuja hot sauce on there. One thing I gotta say about the chives in China, especially for this bite, the Guangzhou Gao, is that the chives here have a much more delicate flavor. I don't know if it's the species, the variety of chives that we have in North America, but those come off as very, very chivy. And I'm talking about the Chinese chives that are like very powerful. I'm curious if like the more delicate chives that are available, which are much more expensive, would be a better fit for Guangzhou Gao and things like that. But the chive here has a much more delicate flavor. It's got a sweetness to it, and it's not as grassy and like punch you in the nose sort of flavor and smell. So that's why this one's really good. Same, but different. Well, what can I say about that dim sum experience? I mean, it's not the first time I've had dim sum in Guangzhou. It was definitely right up there with a lot of the other experiences that I've had. I haven't had a lot of those dishes before, which is saying a lot because I've had a lot of dim sum in my life. But I would love to say that it was the best one I've ever had in Guangzhou. I say that with a bit of an asterisk, only because I feel like there is still better to be had. This is all a little bit newer for me. I haven't spent a lot of time in southern China, relatively speaking. I mean, there are a lot of people who have just grown up here. It's only later in my life that I've had the opportunity, the luck to be able to spend more of my time here and to experience more of my roots. That being said, there were a lot of great things today. I feel like a lot of the things that they did well at the restaurant were based on the things that they know. Some of the more experimental stuff, some of the stuff I hadn't seen at other dim sum restaurants in Hong Kong and other places in the Guangdong province, are probably things that the chefs are experimenting with. Perhaps they're maybe, trying to color outside the lines a little bit. A lot of the things actually really worked. And the things that I know, the dishes that are classic, the Guangzhou Gao, the chive dumpling with the crystal wrapper, as well as, I want to say, some of their sort of rice noodle-y style dishes, like the lo mein, the mixed noodles, they pulled off excellently. The texture was great. It wasn't overdone, it wasn't over the top, it was just really tight. As a dish with presentation, with taste, with textures. You feel like it's a dish that the restaurant has been doing for a long time, or at least the chefs have been doing for a long time. That being said, I can't wait to explore more dim sum in China. I can't wait to explore more Chinese food in China, and I think it was a great experience. 100% would go again. Do you like this type of content? If you do, sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see. Give me some suggestions for other things to do in southern China, or maybe outside of the province of Guangdong as well. I'd love to hear what you have to think. And if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out a ton. Thanks for watching.